Congratulations, mate. What's achievable in that 3-year period? What can you say for your fans?
Oh, well, I think we've made it really clear in our strategic plan of our aims. And I love the fact that we're being ambitious as a football club. That allows me as a coach to set and hold our staff and players to high standards, and I think that's exciting for our fans.
So when Simon said we're going for a premiership within 5 years, you were happy with that? You think that's the way to go? That sort of set a big goal like that?
Well, it'd be silly to say we're not here for that reason. Like every footy club is here to win it. We're no different. I think it's about time we stop accepting mediocrity and be more ambitious as a footy club. And like I said, that allows us to hold staff and players to high standards and allows them to, set a culture that's aiming to be the best. And that's what we're trying to do.
The fans love hearing talk like that, but it does put pressure on coaches, doesn't it, too? Because you need luck, you need lack of injuries, you need a lot of things to go right.
Yeah, but I've always been a coach that controls what I can control. And whether we put a strategic plan out there or get a contract extension, nothing changes for me. Trying to invest as much as I can in day to day and get every day right. And at the end of a period of time, what happens. So just got to make sure you get the process right. We've got ambitious goals as a club, but it all comes back to a process, and we're really invested in that.
Can you quantify how excited you are this year compared to the other years that you've been at the club? Would this be the most encouraged you've been?
Oh, I don't get too excited. Not this time of the year. Right now, all I can control is getting our processes right, and that's really what you do as a coach. You invest in the process up until Christmas, post Christmas. Then you tick off the intra-clubs, and then you get stuck into the season. You don't really project to a year down the track or 2 years down the track. You've just got to make sure that you plan meticulously and control what you can control, and that's the space I live in. And don't spend my time focusing on what's going to happen at round 12. Right now, I'm invested in getting the most out of this media conference and the most out of training today.
How about the shape of the list, Justin? If you think back to when you arrived, does it come together in that period how you would have hoped?
I think we've clearly invested heavily in the draft, clearly invested in adding to our younger age profile with our trade picks, and I think we're building a core group of players that can take us to the aims in the strategic plan.
And culturally, what have been, I guess, the things that you're most proud of since you arrived?
I see the players taking more ownership of our environment and the way we do things. They've become really invested in what we do. They're holding each other to are accountable to higher standards, higher behaviours, and what they're doing on the training track and around the club is at a higher level than what it was when I started. So we're trending in the right direction, but we're definitely not satisfied with where we're at. We've got so much work to do in front of us, and I suppose the most pleasing part is our players are willing to invest in the work.
Justin, the club's obviously acknowledged injuries have been a big issue for years, dating back before your time, but with the changes you've made in that area, do you have any level of confidence or expectation that next season will be different?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I see our medical fitness staff working tirelessly and trying to improve our injury list. At the moment, it's in good shape. We're not perfect. No club is. We're trying to push our players to get as much work into them as we can whilst looking after them and make sure our availability is good. But we've got new staff, new processes in place, and we're really confident that we'll improve that area.
Before you said you don't want to settle for mediocrity anymore, do you think that might have happened in the past?
I probably misspoke a little bit. I just think as a football club, we haven't been as ambitious as we're being right now. Being ambitious allows you to set really high standards and hold each other accountable to really high standards. So, we're here to build a list and a footy team and a footy program that allows us to be at the top for a long period of time. We don't want to be a flash in the pan. So you need to get a lot right for that to happen. And like I said, I think we're on the right track, but we're definitely not satisfied.
Is Fyfes going to be able to, at round one, help you with that course?
Yeah, we hope so. But I mean, so much gets made of round one. I'm really confident Fyfes will play a significant part of the season and be a great captain and a great player, like he always has been. Whether that's round one or round two, we don't need to put a date on it, and we don't need to put that pressure on him. What we need to do is make sure we rehab it right, so once he's back for good.
So it's a couple of months away, so he's clearly got a fair bit of work to do in between, eh?
Yeah, I think it's been well documented. He's got a lot of work ahead of him. But knowing him, he'll be willing to put in the work.
Do you call on your vice captains and leadership group in that case, rather than putting pressure on Fyfes about that whole discussion around captaincy when he's coming back from the injury? No one link in our chain is bigger than the other. We can't rely on Fyfes. We can't rely on our vice captains. Everyone needs to lead. There's opportunities in every day for every person in our football department to lead. So we've probably relied on too much, and that needs to stop. We need to make sure we spread our leadership. Fyfes will still be our captain. I've got enormous faith in him as a player and a leader, but we need others to come along for the ride. And you're speaking about culture just before with the group and how you sort of see them change. For you personally, across your time here, what's been your biggest learning curve?
Well, there's been a lot. I just think as you go on, you just feel a lot more comfortable, and it allows you to, when you're comfortable, it allows you to delegate and collaborate a lot more, and allows you to give ownership to those around you a lot more, and show faith in those around you. And I'm really happy with our coaching group at the moment. At times, they're taking on so much I feel useless. So that's a good sign as far as I'm concerned.
Is it fair to say that Fyfes he won't be able to get back to the level he was at, given how serious this whole hiccup was?
I wouldn't doubt him.
You're confident that he...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Like I said, I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but I know the person. I know how hard he works, how diligent he is. Yeah, and I just know he'll get back and play a really important role for us.
Justin, what did you make of your fixture?
It was probably a little bit the same as my approach to a lot of things. I don't get too far ahead of myself. If you go on last year's form, you can read a lot of wrongs into the fixture. A lot to do with the fixture comes when you meet teams and what they're confronted with at the time. So, still look at round one, maybe look at round two at a pinch, but yeah.
The teams you have to play twice, they didn't do you any favours, did they? Let's be honest.
Do you know how they're going to go next year? Those teams?
We generally know.
Yeah, there's always teams that fall out of the top six, so you just never know. So I don't get caught up in that's a good fixture, it's a bad fixture. You play who you play and try your best and move on to the next week. Sorry to be boring, but it's me.
Sorry, I was just going to say, talking about end goal, obviously a premiership in the next 5 years. For you, where do you determine it being a success this year? I assume things take time and it's a process within that premiership. So what are you sort of eyeing off as a successful year?
We need to build on last year, and natural progression is last year we're on the edge of finals for a lot of the second half of the year and we didn't get it done. So a lot of our framing over the pre-season has been around taking that next step and improving our mindset to become a more consistent team, and that should allow us to press for the finals and play finals footy. I'm not here to shy away from what we want to achieve. And as I said many times, the club's been really ambitious and we need to step up as a footy department.
Justin, can we just get updates on a few blokes of where they're at? Sam Sturt?
Progressing really well. He's entered a bit of training, and after Christmas he'll step into full training, start building his loads.
So you'd be hopeful for the start of the season?
Absolutely, yeah.
Luke Blanky?
Progressing well.
He went home and missed a fair chunk of training, so he's done all the work. He's just probably playing a little bit of catch up, but he's progressing well as well.
Can you see him in your midfield next year?
Yeah, he's got a bit of work to do, and hopefully we've got some really good competition for midfield positions at the start of the year. So, but he'll be in the mix. Yeah, he was close last year.
And Matt Tappin?
Progressing well, and a little bit ahead of schedule, coming off that ankle injury. So we're looking to get him back probably towards the end of Jan into full training.
And Rory Lobb, sorry, you going to say him?
No, you go for it.
Rory Lobb.
It's just a back spasm, so expect him to do some more work today and be right by the end of the week.
And your two key defenders that have missed so much footy last couple of years, Pearce and Hamling, what are your expectations from them next season?
Probably haven't set too many expectations on them for next year. I just expect Pearcey to continue the way he's been going. It's the first time he's actually started a pre-season in a long time, so keep him in one piece, keep him progressing with the amount of loads we give him, and Joel just to be patient with that ankle and continue his process. We expect them both to play over the pre-season and round one. But we just need to be patient with them as well, and try not to get caught up into rushing them back.
You mentioned you're hoping to see some competition in that midfield. Who's making the early running in training?
Well, we shifted Darcy Tucker back up to the midfield. There's a group of him, Connor Blakely, Will Brodie has come into the mix that are really beating up the work and really competing hard. So add them to Brayshaw, Sarong, Fyfe, Mundy, and obviously Sean and Meekie are going hard at training as well. So feel like we've got some depth. And competition's on.
What are your plans with Heath Chapman?
I think Heath can play a variety of roles. At a pinch, he could probably play as a third back, key position type player, but he could also play as a high back. So he's returned in really good shape. He's put on a lot of weight, especially his lower body, a lot of lower body strength over his time out. And his competitiveness and his drive off half backs really shone through. So, really happy with the position he's in.
How have your recruits settled in? What have you sort of noticed about them?
I think they've settled in really well. I think as soon as they came to the club, our players were really good at bringing them inside the group and got them training with the other players really quickly, which has allowed them to almost become a part of the fabric before we started training. So, really impressed with the way they've approached the work we're doing and learning the game plan and all that sort of thing. So, it's going well.
Has anyone surprised you as maybe jumping into your mind for early next year?
No, there's a lot of players going well. And you feel bad for singling one out when there's a number of players that are doing all the work and leading the way.
Just looking at your first 22, so it looks like Jordan Clark plays half-back. So the most competition will probably be in the backline, won't it? So guys like Nathan Wilson and that would be under the pump. Would that be fair to say?
It's a long time. There's a long time to go to round one. Well, last year we thought we had a lot of backs on our list and we had to move Aish and Tucker to the backline. So, we'll get to round one and see who's fit in good form and pick the best team available.
Fair to say Geordie will play back?
Yeah. He'll start at halfback. Yep. We think his skill set and his running ability will give us a bit of bounce out of there.